SAM's been set up now. It's got a few interesting things on it. So there's 3 clusters that we're monitoring at the moment. One has 1 instance. That's the Global Summit 2020 cluster, which is in fact me monitoring SAM. This other one, Shard Demo, has 10 instances in it, and it's just a grouping of 10 machines I care about. In this case, it is in fact a cluster, in that it's a shard cluster, but they could be just any machines that you care about. We can see that recent alerts and errors are showing up here, and we can click through onto the cluster and look at them in detail. So let's go and do that. So here's that shard demo. The machines are all right at the moment, and here's our instances. If we wanted to click through to a particular instance, we could. We could also, let's go and have a look at Colo Bench 3. If we wanted to look at the system management portal, we could, and we can see that there's not much happening on this machine at the moment, but I do know that I was running some stuff overnight, so let's go and have a look and zoom in on that. Once we click through to Grafana, we have different functionality again. I can go back and look at what happened in the last 6 hours, say. Here's a benchmark run overnight, here's a benchmark that was just finished, and this is a bit artificial and synthetic data, but I just wanted to show you something. Most of the panels on the screen are the ones that are shipped by default with SAM, but I've added this extra panel here, which is a cluster-wide view of CPU. And the data from that is not coming from IRIS, the data from that is coming from Node Exporter, so it's coming from the operating system on each of the instances. And if you wanted, you can move, if my mouse works, we can move things around, we can structure this as you want, and then you could save this. Where the real power is, though, is when we start to really customize this for what you need it to do. So in this case, a cluster, a shard cluster, there's certain things we want to look at. So what I did, I created a whole new dashboard, and you could do the same. So I've created one called Cluster View. On the left is more of a cluster-wide view of the world. On the right is per individual machine. So if I wanted to look at that, shard 3, you could see that the charts on the right are zooming in on chart 3. So I've got on the left things like CPU across the whole cluster, but then I can see CPU for this particular machine if I was concerned about I/O weight or how much system time it's using, for example. If I wanted to look at just the glow refs on a particular instance, remote or local, but also I've got the glow refs across the cluster. So if there was one instance either having very low glow refs or very high, it was an outlier, maybe that's something I care about. We're running 45 million glow refs across this grouping of machines here. So it's not so much about the data here. I want you to get to take away today that the data on this is being pulled from lots of different places. It's being pulled from IRIS, the glow ref data. It's being pulled from the operating system, in this case CPU, storage, and also you can create your own metrics and export those as well. So you can cluster together machines, and then you can start to put your own particular application metrics on here as well, whatever's important to your business.